Hey Nerdgenic Nation, your resident superhero nerd Aaron Waller here. Now, I've been talking about this movie, Spider-Man 3, Spider-Man No Way Home, for the better part of about a year. It's been my first video here on Nerdgenic was talking about Spider-Man 3 even before it had a title, and that video came out December 14th, 2020. Almost exactly a year to when this movie released. So to say that I've been excited and anticipating this movie is the understatement of the year, almost quite literally. But now I've finally been able to actually see the movie, and I can tell you it does not disappoint. Now there was a lot of hype for this movie. There wasn't even a poster or trailer until about a month before the film's release, for crying out loud. Marvel was trying their very best to keep every secret in this movie, yet somehow there were still plenty that slipped through the cracks. Nonetheless, it still kept a few minor surprises, and even though they weren't the star of the show, their involvement in the movie makes it all the better. And to be honest, probably the best way I can summarize my thoughts on Spider-Man No Way Home is it's the thrill ride that you've always wanted. It's the closest we can possibly get to there being a Spider-Man versus the Sinister Six movie, at least so far, and it also incorporates other elements of the MCU, both old and new, and that makes it so freaking exciting. Now, this isn't going to be a super long or spoiler-filled review because I obviously want you guys to see the movie, and I'll likely be making a ton of other videos on this movie as I dissect it further and continue to think about it. So make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and ring that bell notification button down below so you can enjoy those spoiler-filled videos after you see the movie. But back to Spider-Man No Way Home. One of the biggest praises I can give this movie was its ability to balance such a wide variety of characters. Even with movies like Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, a lot of the larger MCU was removed during the blip, so it helped narrow whose stories we could focus on during that time. But with Spider-Man No Way Home, it was able to balance each character ever so carefully while still keeping Peter at the center of it all. And we've seen these actors in these roles for a while now, but Tom Holland really kicks into another gear for this movie that embodies Peter Parker in ways that I was not ready for, and at the same time had me incredibly excited for his continuation of the character. In terms of all the other actors, it was absolutely fantastic, including the returning villains, and as I mentioned earlier, the way that they were able to balance having characters like Doctor Strange be involved, but not nearly as overbearing as Iron Man, to the point that it takes away from the story and Peter's journey as Spider-Man. Now, I've always said that Spider-Man in the MCU needs to shed that security blanket of anything involving Iron Man, and I'm happy to say that for the most part this movie does succeed in that, and this I would even go as far as to say is the first real Spider-Man movie in the MCU. Now, Spider-Man was first introduced into the MCU back in Civil War, which was great. Then they kept trying to push the Iron Man aspect with him, and I just never really liked it. And though Iron Man related things are still happening with Peter, at least he's still able to step into his own in this movie, even when still surrounded with the MCU that is still so heavily influenced by Tony Stark. It's only a fraction of what it used to be. Now, does this movie still have various other problems? I would say so, but it's also one heck of an entertaining movie with a loaded runtime that feels like it ends way too soon. There's rarely a dull moment in the entire 2.5 hour runtime, and I just wish I could see an even more extended cut because it was just so enjoyable from start to finish. Overall, I would have to say that I really like Spider-Man No Way Home. I would even go as far as to say that it's probably, if not the top, definitely in the top 5 of MCU movies, at least for me personally. I'll still have to see it a few more times and really dig into it as well as revisit it later to see how well it holds up over time. But my gut says that this is a fantastic movie that you should not miss out on seeing in theaters if possible, and for that reason I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. It really delivered in so many ways that I was concerned on how they would pull certain things off, but they brought such a good Spider-Man story to the screen and are gearing up towards the future that put Spider-Man in a bit more aligned with his roots that I just can't be mad at. To be honest, I'm just thankful that we're departing the Iron Man era of the MCU while at the same time No Way Home being that breath of fresh air that Marvel really needed for their movies, considering it was such a lackluster 2021. At least in terms of the movies, the TV series are doing phenomenal, but the movies are just really underwhelming, but this definitely left me on a high. So those are my thoughts on Spider-Man No Way Home. Again, a fairly quick video, but I have a ton of upcoming videos that you don't want to miss out on that are going to be talking about all the spoiler things that happen in this movie. So make sure you head down below and hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell notification so you miss out on any of them. As well as while you're down there, be sure to leave me a comment letting me know what you thought about Spider-Man No Way Home. Would you think it was as high as a 9.5? Would you rank it in your top 5 MCU movies of all time? Let me know down in the comments, and also be sure to follow us on Facebook so you don't miss out on any announcements including news, blog articles, or upcoming live streams that we may be hosting right here on YouTube. But for even more videos from us, make sure you check out these videos on screen, like this video right over here where I talk about the top 5 possible new owners of the Avengers Tower, which kind of needs to be refreshed after this movie. Or if you want even more Spider-Man content, check out this video about the biggest questions we have about the upcoming Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse movie. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. We really do appreciate it, and we hope to see you in the next video.